Europe's Titans stand tall as the German Amigos shiver in the shadows of the massive mountain in front of them. Will the Amigos band together to reach the summit, or will it prove too difficult to acclimatize?
Well, it seems the entire Rocket League world is thinking that this is going to be a simple one for Karmine Corp against German Amigos right now. Goblin, tell me why we're all so hot on KC.
Their offense is revolting, quite frankly. They're all offense, little defense, especially when you look at this event. They're first in goals, they're first in shots. They're getting, by the way, 2.5 goals per game so far. Over 10 shots per game when the average is around 8.5. They're third in shooting at the moment, and in total, getting it somewhere, near average, I think, overall, but they're about 25% at the moment during this event. They are just the offensive beasts that every single team is going to fear. And there's no one, I truly believe this, there's no one in the world that really wants these wins and the World Championship win at the end of this road more than Vatira.
You see his emotion after every loss in a major. You feel how much
everything.
He started to get himself in trouble on Twitter between the players just because
laughing emoji.
Exactly. But it's not an arrogance. It's just sort of factual from Vatira. He is probably the best player in the world. Laughing at others isn't quite so hot, but there's a sense of innocence to him as well. He had the conversation with apparently Jack after. It was brilliant. I love watching Karmine Corp play, but I also respect the heck out of German Amigos. They are capable of okay, that's an interesting take. We'll get back to that one in a second. I respect the way they frustrate their opponents. I respect the way they only need one chance and they will take it more often than not. I respect the way they made it to the semi-finals last time, just keeping Team Liquid at arm's length.
Hated
They're
that.
capable of doing it. Yeah, tell me, mate.
They made me go 2-8. They made me go 2-8. They were the start of my downfall. And German Amigos, I don't respect you, nor do I like you as... No, I do like them. They're all very lovely people. I was about to be quite harsh, and I feel like I would have got a DM from somebody at Psyonix.
Yeah.
No, they're all fantastic, but they let me down. They let me down on that one because they won, and I was very frustrated. But Karmine Corp, they're a different beast to Liquid, especially the Liquid that we saw last week. Do you think... So, yeah, very true.
Every time.
I know. Guys, my stupid little brain. Do you think that Karmine Corp, this is just a shoe-in? This is just a dub. This is one of those ones where, as Shogun said, you run into an actual event-winning team eventually.
Yeah, I mean, they've made, I believe, every grand finals in EU regions.
4 in a row so far.
Yeah, won the last one as well. They look dominant. They look unstoppable. So as close to a shoe-in in Rocket League as you can get, which is very much not a shoe-in, history will remind us. But when you've got Vatira on the pitch, when Itachi is styling on everybody, when Exotic is always capable of just magic, he's got magic in his boot as Exotic when it comes to these mechanical plays. I think it's pretty close to that one, but this is how German Amigos can break through. They can survive a few Karmine Corp waves of attack and then just stun them with an attack down the other end.
Catalysm from his own backboard is going to find his way into the opposition half. Vatira waits patiently and then catches that ball on the right-hand wing, goes high, Itachi's already up, takes it low, back to Vatira. But Catalysm with a massive interception leads Exotic to have to fall back to the blue side.
It's starting to turn into the sort of game that German Amigos want to experience, where Karmine Corp are coming at them, but the boost is rarely depleted for German Amigos. Have a look in the top right of your screen right now. 87, 180 for the 3 German Amigos players. They will hoard those little bitty bits of boost for as long as they possibly can to make sure they can use them when the time is right. And maybe now the time is right. Ivan couldn't quite wrap himself around that ball, so Exotic can come forward. But German Amigos, they're starting to just foray forward into that blue half, Stumpy.
They've held out incredibly well too. Yes, they've had a lot of offense against them. The shots so far, German Amigos have 1, whereas we're looking at 8 on the side of Karmine.
Is it really that already?
It's 1 and 8. Like the offense is clearly in favor of Karmine Corp. However, this is still them shooting below their average, bear in mind, of over 10 shots per game. So chances for German Amigos to try and bring us something more offensively minded, I feel, towards the KC half, if possible.
If there's one thing I've learned from old, bedraggled Premier League football managers, Stumpy, it's that only one stat matters, and that's the amount of goals scored, all right? And so far in this one, it's still 0-0. Amigos will be overjoyed about that. Oh, but that's where they're frustrating. Look how far back Tox is as that ball flashes across the goal.
50 seconds remaining. Still though, KC, as you said, Cole, as an old bedraggled football manager, It's still 0-0, lads. We can get this one in the second half.
Nice, boys. Nice impression. Vatira is impressing all of us. Teeing up Exotic, but Tox there again, reading everything from KC so far. Safety first in German Amigos. Itachi tries to get a little bit going, and he was really impressive in the Winter Open, Itachi. I'd say at times he out-mechanicked Vatira, which I don't think we ever expected. But he was just, blitzing the opposition last time out.
Itachi, this team has been built around him, bear in mind. Like, this is the form that KC wants to eventually take, and a miscommunication on that German Amigos line doesn't actually get punished. Vatira takes it onto his own backboard, flicks it high. Capitalism's there to try and secure this overtime, potentially a goal. No, it just pinched downward. Overtime, game number 1 between KC and German Amigos.
Overtime 0-0. You sound a lot more surprised about that than I am, Stumpy. I think that's pretty much par for the course here. That touch
Karmine Corp
is the last thing that they wanted Karmine Corp. But it's Karmine Corp, but it's also German Amigos keeping it tight at the back. Never making that mistake. Catalysm. And he's a brilliant striker as well of the ball. Don't forget that as well. If Catalysm gets a chance, he will bury it into that top corner. Absolute top bins machine is the man.
And bear in mind, German Amigos to get here, they did 3-1 BDS. They've got the offense against some of the best players of last year. Yes, BDS are on that downward trend at the moment. They haven't figured something out. But German Amigos, that result is still huge. This is their second time in a row at this spot. And they've got past this spot previously. They got to the semi-finals. They've done a great job, and quarters is not where they're going to want their journey to end up. They just have drawn that short straw of placing so in their group that they've come up against number 1 in Europe right now.
And as the Evil Genius as well, there was LAN experience in funnily enough, the Winter Major last time out. They were there. They beat Dignitas, didn't they, to make it through to play against the crowd. Famously, but they're not going to win this first game. One touch into the center. It came pretty much out of nothing. That was not sustained pressure.
Just
it was pretty simple. Yeah.
Well, Exotic, I feel, just knew that Itachi was in the middle, get it central, and there's going to be that German Amigos defense not quite responding as fast as Karmine Corp can. That's where the last 5% really comes in for a team. Karmine Corp taking game number 1, but considerably closer than a lot of people would think.
2 shots for German Amigos and 12 for Karmine Corp. So at least statistically, that one going the way we expected. Goals-wise, not so much. German Amigos, is that the blueprint for them to win this series?
Just sit back and then wait to get punched in the face repeatedly and hope they don't get knocked out?
You're not a fan of that, are you, mate? Because I respect it, but you've never really bought into that idea.
I know you don't respect it. I know you don't respect that defensive.
Look.
Okay, sorry.
Let me dive in here and explain to you that if there is ever a team that genuinely defends their way to a major victory and everyone's like, oh, that team is so frustrating, they never attack, I'll be like, you gods. I would love them for it, truthfully.
Okay, but what if they don't and they just keep getting top 8?
Do they make majors?
Sometimes.
Ooh, I'd say there's honour in that. I mean, we had Tox after beating Team Liquid. We had Tox being interviewed on the mainstream, and he said we knew we couldn't go toe-to-toe with these guys mechanically.
I do respect that a lot.
Exactly, and that's something you hear so rarely.
Okay, fair enough. And I also like Tox as a person, so fair play. German Amigos, there's a lot of honour in what they are doing, and it's a team where maybe it is a case of just trying not to get punch drunk. Those bumps nearly coming in. Tox not punching Itachi away from that save quite as quickly as he would like to. Itachi's still going high in the air, despite the fact that Ivan pre-jumped in. Capitalism again shooting. A man that is occasionally on a team, as you say, that is going to be able to get these top 8s, top 4s. And a pass from 1 to Exotic. Can he flick it over one of them? Goes top corner, but Catalysm intelligently finds himself on that backside wall, then dive in front and save it away.
I get the impression that Itachi has been training his mechanics alongside Vatira and Exotic because he wasn't considered to be the mechanical one going into this split and into this season. And I thought that because of that, Karmine Corp, they definitely have one of these players popping off in their locker if they need to. Maybe German Amigos steal this second game, and you get the impression that Karmine Corp, as they concede here, will just start to get angry, and they're beginning to prod the beast.
Catalysm receives, touches, passes, assists. Ivan just has to tap it in above the head of Itachi, and German Amigos take the lead.
That's the German Amigos blueprint right there, and we are now going to see what it's like for Karmine Corp to be behind in a game against these German Amigos. I imagine it'll be even more attacking, more aggression, chuck more men forward, get a 4th player on the pitch, bring them forward too.
Yeah, bare more teeth towards your opponent. Make sure that even if you're not touching the ball, your growl is scaring them away.
Almost a chance though for Tox again. 2 Karmine Corp players on the goal line. 2 of them there. Get it away. Tox has to let that one go, but it will fall to Catalysm. Good decision making again from German Amigos. Catalysm's up. Exotic finds a Tachi, does he? They're getting each other's way a little bit. Is it starting to feel a little bit frustrated for Karmine Corp already?
I mean, that definitely comes with, I think, the general cockiness, that you see with a team that is one of the best in the world right now of, we should be beating these guys. And sometimes that can really take that mental effect on you, where you're thinking, this is mine. This is our series to win. And if we don't, then we have failed. They've not overperformed. We have failed in our job to win. But it's only 2 minutes gone, and it's only 1-0. Karmine Corp still have a huge amount of firepower left in their arsenal.
Ivan has got no boost at all, which is the last thing German Amigos want. In fact, they're all pretty starved right now. Tox can't go for a pinch here. Just twirls around by himself. Exotic tries to get it over the top of him. Tox just stayed true and stayed firm, kept his tires on the floor, or on the wall, should I say, for as long as he could. Catalysm's let in. Exotic turning around. Ivan's to his left. Oh, maybe Catalysm could have slowed it down a little bit there. Let the bump come in. A slight rush from German Amigos. Means that Vatira can try half a musty flip and then half a flip capital.
That's a dive.
That is a dive. It's an overcommit. Tox is in. He puts it into the center. Ivan is there. German Amigos frustrating the heck out of KC.
That was such a push, just wanting something to happen, wanting that goal to come in from anywhere, and it leads to a huge lapse of judgment. A pass central, German Amigos up by 2. And also, right now, Karmine Corp have the #1 win percentage when going behind in a game. They're at 38%. German Amigos, they need to try and shut that beast down.
Vatira does have Exotic to the side, but the touch isn't perfect either. So a combination of great German Amigos play and just sluggish attacking from Karmine Corp. They need to really express themselves a tad more and force the issue. I feel they're letting German Amigos set the pace. Catalysm, look at them reading that pace, reading the KC touch attempts, and more flat-footedness from Karmine Corp.
Just little whiffs, little errors every now and then, and Karmine Corp wants to get something from this. German Amigos, though, what a performance we're seeing in this second game. Something that I think a lot of fans of them and a lot of people that have followed these becoming aged players are excited to see.
Touch in the center, Exotic tries to beat Catalysm and Tox, but between the two of them, they get it away. German Amigos are trying to survive for as long as they can. Make sure whatever you do, you get a slice of that ball. Don't leave it cleanly for Karmine Corp. Exotic does have it cleanly, but the reset's going nowhere. His next touch does something. Vatira's backwards? Is this just
he turned
from Karmine Corp?
Vatira turned away from that play because Exotic just ended up flopping his way towards that ball. But you're right, this isn't clean. This isn't tidy. This is not what Karmine Corp are typically so famed for doing. The final minute sees KC chasing, and that blue wall, there aren't any cracks in it, but it certainly looks stained.
Yeah, just 1 or 2 drips coming down from it, just like flashing down the wall once or twice. Yeah, a little bit of damp. It's
just a little bit of damp. Like it's dealable. It's fine. It's not too much of an issue.
Whoa.
But that damp begins to grow as the tap continues to flow for GA.
Oh, but then the tap is closed or something. I don't know. Basically, Karmine Corp has scored 2-1, 37 seconds left.
Vatira just going for that slow play. Catalysm has to defend off that shot opportunity. Instead, passed it across, an Exotic just leathered it. Top left. 1 goal separating these two teams. The German Amigos need to hold on tight.
We're about to see Karmine Corp absolutely turn it on. Exotic out wide to Vatira. Wants to get this next touch, but he's just left it to Catalysm. Trying to stay dangerous, Karmine Corp. Atachi up. Again, it's not the best pass, not the best touch. I expected more from KC so far. 15 seconds in, still no danger forced upon their opponents. Maybe that demo changes it. Vatira, he gets the flip reset, but it goes nowhere. Credit to German Amigos, but Karmine Corp can do so much more these last 10 seconds.
These last 10 seconds are going to be pivotal in their journey to Exotic shooting high. Ivan does get the pivotal touch. We hit 0 seconds. That ball is low. It's dropped by KC. German Amigos take game number 2 and tie up our series.
It's a robust performance from the German Amigos right there. They didn't do a single thing more than they had to at any point. They're not playing expansive Rocket League, but why would they need to when they could make Karmine Corp trip over their own feet so often? We might be having a car change right now as well. Vatira's left and rejoined, so clearly the Frenchman's sensing the same thing that you and I are sensing, Stumpy, watching on. There's something just not quite right today.
Yeah, I think there's something that's happening where KC aren't feeling comfortable in their own skin and playing with each other. And German Amigos taking full advantage of that. Yeah, frustrate them, absolutely. Like, if they're shooting, yeah, we'll just save it away, make it look a little bit awkward, sure, but let's just get rid. Let's make sure that when they dive in, we punish. I'm so happy that they punished on that dive in too. Because despite the fact that KC threw the kitchen sink, it was caught, it was spun, and it was chucked right back in their faces.
1-1 in the series, and this couldn't really be going any better right now for German Amigos as Catalysm goes up with Exotic for the kickoff. He's already got a flip reset, wants to do something with it, not quite yet. Touch out wide, it's only as far as Ivan. German Amigos just queuing up one at a time to get these clearances. Vatira is almost bundled off the ball. Exotic, though, shows some good composure. Just get a clean 50-50 with Tox.
And all of German Amigos play so close to each other as well, where you think that you've beaten one, and then the three-headed Hydra comes out and attacks. And an early goal conceded. Tox shoots long, scores.
Is there anything more frustrating than that, Stumpy? No matter what level of Rocket League you're at, whether it's bronze all the way to SSL, conceding a goal from your own half, that's annoying.
It's also from the infield part, where Itachi, I believe it was, passed its central hoping that there was going to be a KC player there. And typically, they know if the player's going to be there. Vatira, I feel, at that moment, had a chance for a completely open net and shot it wide instead of Itachi onto the backboard. Exotic, completely whiffing. KC have not had their breakfast today.
KC, who, by the way, have made 4 grand finals in a row. Okay, and
their average position in regionals is 1.5.
So on average, they practically win.
Yeah.
That's not bad going, is it?
And yeah, German Amigos, mate, they're just that speed.
The unsigned German Amigos, by the way, if any orgs are watching.
What an advertisement this is for any team.
Ooh, Ivan's getting in the way of Tox a little bit, and Tox fancies another bite of that cherry.
Right, come on,
everyone fancies it. Yeah, maybe just the first sign of German Amigos starting to get a little bit overconfident themselves.
If you play like that, then KC win this series. Just keep frustrating them. Keep being annoying little German Amigos.
Itachi up against Catalysm. It's going to fall to Exotic. He goes high. Itachi's trying to get bumped. Ivan steams in. There's always someone there for German Amigos. Vatira allows Catalysm space on the ball. They know that they can tackle these players. Vatira around Itachi. He's the player that it's left to. And it's Vatira's brilliance that sets Itachi up.
That is a well-fought goal. And Catalysm just gets double committed on alongside Ivan. Catalysm just had to leave. He couldn't have done more than that. But the speed for Itachi to get his nose to that ball and get back a bit of confidence, wrestle it away from the Amigos, may well be a huge turning point in this game.
It's always Vatira, the player you look to when things aren't quite going your way. His ability there to read what Catalysm is going to do, allow him to have the space, turn around then back, and then get like a chain pre-flip thing where he bounces off the wall, setting up Itachi perfectly. That's a little bit special, and that's indicative of the best player in the world.
3 minutes remain, level pegging so far in series and in game score. Itachi sends it long, wants to punish, potentially overcommit for German Amigos, but if there's one team that are just going to sit back and be happy on defense, it's going to be these boys. Tox challenging off against 2 of the best. Manages to come out of it completely unscathed. That time it burns boost, does not get any ball. Vatira taking it close, does not want to boom this one away. Into the skies, air draw bump, but Catalysm rises high above that challenge.
We're starting to see, though, more and more often that Karmine Corp are having clean solo play, at least attempts. They're not quite happening so far, but keep coming forward if you're Exotic. Eventually, you're going to break through this German Amigos defense. Make it into the back of the net. Another great touch there from Exotic. It looked a little bit sketchy for a second, but he had the reach in that Fennec. And they should be able to defend this one as well by Vatira. Itachi's got a German on top of him. Just lets him fall and flop. And the attack will keep on going.
Left wing sees Ivan pick up 100 boost and challenge versus Vatira and win. Gets into the corner, but instead it pops out. Now Itachi, it's his time to shine. With only 24 boost, though, he's going to have to shine with not too much metal. Does not get anything from it. The boost still coming in from more KC players, starting to whittle down that back line of German Amigos, taking bricks out one by one and adding them to their own wall.
Vatira backflips, but such as the respect his opponents have, it actually led to a mistake from Catalysm. And then there's Ivan and Tox. Those two at each other's throats again. German Amigos have to avoid that. If nothing else, I believe it's because they're trying to up their pace. They realize KC are cooking something, and they're trying to match them. You have to avoid those double commits, though. Exotic wants to put that one down. Another double commit. Not a good one as well. Exotic's taking out one player after another for German Amigos, but Itachi just didn't have the momentum to make the most of it. And the pass is a little bit lacking.
Completely lackluster, just a crawling ball across the net. Itachi, though, an opportunity, saved away by Catalysm this time. Shot straight towards the target for Vatira. This is where the Bears' claws really start to come out.
Ivan has a chance to pass into the center, maybe. Went for the pinch instead. I think that's what Karmine Corp wanted. Tox wins that one against Vatira cleanly. German Amigos can push for the last 50 seconds. The pace is there for them. Catalysm, such a good player himself. You have to remember, these guys are capable mechanically. They're not completely clueless. Catalysm over the top. Ivan has the pass there. The other touch is there as well. Vatira, he's scrambling to get back. Does so, but only for now. Catalysm high.
Itachi off that backboard, finds Exotic in the corner, but German Amigos, my God, this press is shutting down KC. No opportunities. Tox sends it into that top ramp, and now Catalysm has to return back, picks up a couple of pennies, and Ivan moves forward. That boost to steal, or the boost ground brother from Catalysm, is going to be fueling this attempt forward. Exotic is up quickly. 50 very neutrally in the middle. Itachi taking a shot. Tox saving away yet again. Back and forth. Another overtime looms. Vatira, final chance.
Here we go. It's Vatira. He's got a flip reset. That one's going above the net. Tox follows it up, just wants to kill this one. I think they'll take an overtime all day long, German Amigos. Karmine Corp, not so much. Maybe they'll change their minds. I don't know. It has bounced over Vatira. Yeah, he fancied that one.
But it's just like, no, this ball in the floor now. I do not want a 0-second goal, please.
Yeah, Vatira didn't fancy that one at all. You can see from his body language. But German Amigos will start the overtime better. A deft touch from Exotic takes it away from the German Amigos player. And now Vatira can launch one long. Tox gets the read. Ivan's there. Just let it roll across his body, flash across his body. Exotic. Let's look at the bump on Catalysm. Who manages to bypass Itachi. So German Amigos still looking strong, Stumpy.
German Amigos, my God, they have stolen KC's breakfast. They pilfered the breakfast bar.
What is it in breakfast today?
It's just something that people eat to fuel, or maybe that's just a thing by Big Breakfast. I don't know anymore. 40 seconds in this overtime. The opportunities for German Amigos are endless. They have just been taking shot after shot. It's still, of course, not as much as KC, and Itachi and Exotic wanting to push as far as they can and push GA as much as past Vatira, bumping the keeper, but the save still remains.
The boost is pretty low right now for German Amigos. They have to make every touch count and follow up those hits to the best of their ability. Itachi, look how much open space he's got to gallop into. He gets it over the top of Catalysm. Ivan saves him. Ivan then charges down Exotic, but he's taken out the rotation. Exotic's turn for the flip reset, and Catalysm's turn to make the clearance. Survival mode again for German Amigos. Karmine Corp have them in their clutches. They just have to close their fist.
Both doors are splintering with the amount of efforts that are flying into them. Catalysm, opportunities have arisen for him in that defense and that chance. Tries to tip it over the edge, does do so. It's on target, but Vatira can save it away. Pressured by Tox, and so it just goes floating awkwardly. Ivan's able to intercept. Itachi to the ceiling. Catalysm challenging with Exotic. There's no difference in speed between these teams right now. They're beating each other to the ball. They're getting incredibly even touches. No one is the better.
Yeah, but you can't have Vatira breaking through too many times. He'll always manage to sew the thread and get it towards one of his teammates somehow. That ball was way too floaty and way too uncontrolled for German Amigos. But once again, it wouldn't quite fall for Karmine Corp. Vatira's going to try and make it happen again. Catalysm over the top of Itachi. Brilliant there from Itachi. That is where he is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Taking that just time, slow it down. My team are feeling a little bit too rushed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, where he's able to change the game's pace to whatever he believes that it should be. Vatira trying to go for a pogo.
Hello.
That's incredibly confident, Vatira. It's 1-1 in a 2.5 minute overtime, mate. Chill.
Yeah, well, you know, if anything's going to wake up Karmine Corp, it could be a big old Vatira pogo, or at least a second touch towards the backboard. Ivan wins it. She's all alone. He doesn't have boost really as well. 50.
Good demo.
To make some play from here. Vatira goes to the edge, little bump, and Tox and Catalysm. Just get it away.
I'll have it. I'll throw a body at that.
Oh, no way.
Tox with the bump. German Amigo takes series lead.
Look at this. Tox and Ivan, it's their show. The incredible duo dribblers just making it from one side of the pitch to the next. The instant timeout called by Karmine Corp.
Do you blame them?
Oh my God.
Right. What? Do you blame them? Karmine Corp coming into this series, must have thought, this is ours, all right, okay, another semi-final, lol, what are we, oh, well, okay, we're losing. What? Like, they've sleepwalked into a losing position. German Amigos, 2-1 up. You've got to time out there. Shut down that momentum. I'm beaming at just how weird this is.
It's great. This has been my dream for a long time, to have a team that is able to defend their way against a team that's in such form as Karmine Corp, a squad that have made, 4 grand finals in a row regionally, that just seem online. I mean, the conversation isn't even about Karmine Corp online anymore. That's assumed knowledge that they will do well online. The question moves on to lands, right, for them. But no, German Amigos are dragging them right back down into the mire, saying, look, you can battle it out in your own office chairs, lads, just like the rest of us.
This performance from German Amigos, I'm so sorry that I was saying I don't like you before, because this
They've won you over, have they?
They've won me over, because what is happening? Just no one, truly no one, saw German Amigos taking a lead. You guys didn't give them a game. I gave them one pity one, which is basically still not a game.
Yeah.
And yet here they are, 2-1 up. Vatira, that concentration, the man who wants everything, currently on the verge of going out in the quarterfinals. Yes, they're in a fantastic position for your Worlds, for the Winter Major. Of course they are. But these individual results, these are the ones that can knock somebody. And he is an incredibly emotional player. And I say that with the utmost respect, because he wears his heart on his sleeve. But that just means it is prime and ready for a stabbing from a German Amigos knife.
And that first goal as well, 30 seconds in, and you can see that, an infield pass that's met by Tox, who boots it into Rosed, except wait a minute, Rosed's our goal somehow. Then the overtime, it just replayed that goal so many times, right? Put you and me in rank, right? Put you and me against Karmine Corp, even better.
All right,
you and I are going for a dual dribble.
As we do.
If we run that 1,000 million times, how many times does it actually work as a goal for us?
I'll give it 4, 5.
4 out of 100 million or whatever I said.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's generous.
That's about what, 2 or 3%? Like, that's not very often at all.
Close enough.
Don't check the math.
And German Amigos are close enough to just a stunning series already. They've already overperformed. Now the question of winners tilt, Stumpy, yours are my favourite concept, because they will be starting to think, oh, actually, we could.
We can do this, lads. We can actually, truly do this. We can't out-mechanic them, sure, we know that. But we can win this, and that is a scary old place to be. When you've got nothing to lose, you can throw everything, but as soon as that is on the line, that's where it starts to become scary.
So in the last game, there was a very early goal, 30 seconds in, from German Amigos, and it just shaped the tide. Let's see if the same happens here, or if Karmine Corp can just be a little bit more solid at the start, make sure they're not throwing anything away, over-committing that third man. As tempting as it might be against German Amigos to make a statement, I don't think that's how you're going to play it.
Vatira wanting to work out of that defense, trying to find himself in a position where he can show off his brilliance. Hasn't been able to just yet in this series. Tox passing to Ivan, who's completely isolated on that left wall. One reset, tries to 50 it down into the net, but Itachi can clear it central. Just over a minute has elapsed. Nothing has occurred just yet. And these double commits from German Amigos, they are far from perfect right now. They are making errors. Tox outdoing Itachi. My God, man. I don't care if you didn't score that. Just cut it before you didn't score. Like, put that in a montage. It's all right.
Didn't quite have the flick to get over the top there of the German Amigos defender either. And it's gratefully gobbled up by Catalysm. Keeps things going. Vatira gets that pre-flip almost. Tox closes them down fast again. Back to Itachi, but that was a dangerous moment. If Itachi had been beaten by Tox there, it could have been danger signs for Karmine Corp all over again. And Ivan's starting to get these catches. German Amigos, you know, for as much as we talk about how they're not the most mechanical team, they are so clean mechanically. Their touch is always really nice, you know, to get them into a position to get a decent 50-50 or whatever it is they need.
I mean, they're also just their game sense, their positioning. They're not as mechanical as KC. They know that. They're not as mechanical as the Liquids, etc. But the fact that we are seeing them, just their positioning and shutting down KC in any opportunity they find themselves in is truly blowing my mind. Like, it proves that you don't need the mechanics. You don't need to be able to go for shots that Exotic just tried to showcase for us. Sometimes, right place, right time, and you are able to win games. 2 versus KC in a potential series if they can take a couple more.
Oh, but KC have decent game mechanics. Oh, sorry, game sense themselves. That wasn't mechanical. That was just out-rotating your opponent's boost starving them, then eventually earning that
pressure.
finish. 1-0 KC, and they will be
look at the scoreboard.
overjoyed to get an ugly goal.
Scoreboard. Exotic
1, 2, 3.
178. Itachi 178. Vatira 176. Rip.
I thought you were happy that it was 1, 2, 3 at the top.
No, unfortunately not. No, I just quite like seeing that they were so close to each other. Chuck a blanket over them if you want.
Oh, that's quite sweet. Well, I'll keep going under their little blanket, see if they can double up their lead. As they're all cozied up together. Vatira's touch. Almost past Ivan, but Ivan takes him out. Tox the chance to go mechanical himself. Unable to do it on that occasion. Went for the air dribble. Just didn't quite happen.
Oh! Ivan! Catalysm can score it, though. Let's all bathe in the glory of our new mechanical master, Ivan. Going below one defender, ground pinching it, setting up Catalysm. German Amigos, they are drawing again in the third.
And the thing is, when you play a slower game, if you do step up your pace, your opponents can struggle to deal with it and realize it's happening. That's what happened there for Ivan. He just clicked his fingers and went that wee bit faster, and Karmine Corp couldn't deal with it. They couldn't adapt on the fly. They have another chance to attack now, though. Tachi just bombards that ball over the top, but Vatira's so far back. Can't do anything with that one. Tops into the center. It's looking like we're going to have a period of German Amigos defending against Karmine Corp. Are they able to stay up to the task again as the pressure of the series increases?
And that's what this entire series is. It's how much pressure can German Amigos take? How bloodied and bruised can their faces become before they then concede a goal? So far, they've been able to get a couple of counter goals, and they've even, they've conceded, sure, but it is the game plan. That is exactly what German Amigos do. And it's frustrating, KC. They look infuriated at times. They want to conquer this team, and yet...
The team that they beat 4-0 last time out, and also the team that they are currently on a tactical timeout against. And we know, regular viewers will realize those things are magic. I don't know the actual percentages, but they up your percentage of winning the next game by a long way. They let you think, they let you play.
Vatira, you disgusting young man. Going low, then we're going for the wave dash, flicks it over one, then the quick tap over the final defender. The lead for KC and the mechanical mastery for Vatira.
50 seconds for German Amigos to avoid this series becoming 2-2. Karmine Corp desperate to force parity in this one, but Tox with a chance to go for the double. It's a little bit high. Catalysm there to the side. Ivan's waiting in the center, getting bumped or helped along his way, depending on how you look at it, by Vatira. They do have that ball back to orange territory. Vatira's there with the ball. He goes for the bump instead. Vatira's starting to warm up. Stumpy is beginning to have some fun.
He's starting to realize, I am one of the best in the world, and I can win this. My team can win this. We take this series, and we do not take it lying down. 15 seconds left. Vatira again with another goal. 3-1 is going to be leveling up our series here on Utopia to 2-all. German Amigos have done a phenomenal job so far, but now the true test comes. Can you battle Vati?
It's been more sluggish than we started, but a slightly lethargic Karmine Corp have come alive in the last 15, 30 seconds or so. And now we're going to see, look at them, the pre-jumps are coming in. Suddenly the confidence flows back into the veins of KC. You know that pogo that Vatira went for earlier? He seemed desperate at the time. But now I think we might see one or two, just for fun, for fluency, for a statement against German Amigos.
A pogo precursor to a series that is going to shock everyone should it go the way of the Amigos. But on Utopia, as we said, it is KC reigning supreme. And what a turnaround this was. This was a 1-all for a while. And the fact that KC can get a couple off the back, that is going to be the confidence that they so desperately need to be going through into game number 5.
Karmine Corp there went from awful to authoritative in the space of one dribble, one fast play there from Vatira. Suddenly sets them well along their way. German Amigos, Stumpy, one, they're taking a timeout right now, so it's their turn to talk things through. 2, where do they go from here? Because all of a sudden the game plan wasn't effective, and it had been up to then.
The game plan was still fantastic, and I do not think they should deviate. Normally I'd say change it up, do something different. German Amigos do not do that. They have got some of the most impressive defense that we have seen. Yes, it's imperfect. Yes, there are problems. Yes, we saw better in the Resolve vs. Oxygen series, right? But when it comes down to just I'm going to say to not having ambition to be offensive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that in the way where they don't feel that that is for them. And that is good to understand because they have got to this point by knowing that is their game style. However, now they come up against the most terrifying offense potentially in the world. Sans Gen G and FaZe potentially, but definitely in that level, 1, 2, or 3 in the world on any given day. Their offense, #1 goals in Europe so far this event, #1 in shots this event, #3 in shooting percentage and converting those shots into goals. They put a lot on net and they score a lot. German Amigos so far have shut them down. However, German Amigos have got the biggest test coming up, and that is to carry on doing what they're doing.
It's difficult. When you feel it starts to turn against you, so difficult to stick to that game plan. And their coach Verge is no doubt telling them that's what they have to do. It's worked up to now. You've got themselves 2 games against Karmine Corp, a team that beat you 4-0 last time. You've already literally done infinitely better than you did on that occasion. Do not bottle it. Do not go against everything you believe in. Maybe add a bit more flair. There was a moment in the last game where I think it was maybe Catalysm was going up the wall, and he had a chance. You know when players sort of go up the wall, they drive up onto the ceiling, fall down for a pre-jump, and then dodge into it? He had an opportunity to do that. Instead, he just waited, and the pass came straight at him, and he couldn't do very much with it. It was the safer play. He went for the percentage play when they were on the full attack. German Amigos, I just want to see them be that little bit more confident when they do have ball control.
So go for the ambition with those plays, but otherwise the game plan needs to stay the same for German Amigos. They're frustrating KC beyond anything it feels like KC have been frustrated by before. On Wasteland, we see who goes on to series point though.
Castellism wants to get German Amigos going well, but Exotic closing down, and already the hits seem more clean for Karmine Corp. They're so far forward. They want this ball, they're desperate for it. Itachi's turning in. What a start this could be for Karmine Corp if they can get there. The slowdown isn't quite effective though.
A change of pace, though, as if KC want to be controlled in this series, they need to control the pace. A shot coming in quite early for Itachi, talks to touch and takes it low with 100 boost taken as well. Vatira is still able to get that ball, and the offense for KC builds and builds until the dam just can't take it anymore.
I'm also wondering what's going to happen on social media if Karmine Corp do lose this, considering Vatira has been, you know, getting in the heads of a few of his fellow pros earlier. We mentioned the fact that he and Jack had a discussion. There was also Rise who got involved, the laughing emojis at Vatira.
Rise is such a stirrer, though, isn't he?
I mean, that's the brilliance of it, because Vatira isn't afraid to, you know, preemptively call out his opponent. That's when you put a target on your back if you do lose. So he's ratcheted up this pressure, and this is where they have to deal with it.
Exotic pinching towards net alongside Ivan. But Ivan, in that instance, manages to get the save in the corner. Ivan challenges versus 2 and comes out with the ball, but Exotic can clear it away. Catching, flicking until Itachi takes control of it. But Ivan midfield again. Look at Exotic dribbling a couple of defenders out the way too.
Like an American football quarterback or whatever. Just charging past everyone. Ivan gets someone above. Capitalism has to win this race or at least draw it. He does the latter, just about the bare minimum so far for German Amigos. Keeping the ball out. Might not be the case for long, though. Exotic gets the finish.
When you've been shooting on net so often, the German Amigos have to assume that's what's coming next. But just swiping it across the net and Exotic helping on his way to the bottom corner ends up being the play that breaks the Amigos. 1 minute 40 gone, 1 goal for KC, and on the back foot, German Amigos find themselves.
Yeah, but they did concede first in the last game as well. Had an immediate response, might this time, but it's brilliant from Vatira to dodge the bump and stay forwards again. Get his team forward, back onto that front foot. Vatira's still there going for bumps. He's really got bloodlust right now. It's actually wants to put that one above the goal. Manages to. Exotic can't quite get it on target. It's actually should, but Catalysm with a wonder save.
Multiple chances. German Amigos, though, this is their bread and butter. They're able to keep that ball away from going in their net with 30 boost. Catalysm wisely goes to the wall instead of trying to follow up. Good touch onto the back ball. Vatira, though, clearing long. 40 boost. Exotic has to catch up to it. Tox left wing. Sees Vatira challenge him. That's on target. And Itachi stretches with every inch of that Fenix to clear the ball away.
Ivan's wanting bumping, though. Gets the demo in the end for his troubles, but unfortunately for him, the clearance had already been made. So while he did good work against Vatira, it'll count for nothing. Tox's turn has 100 boost in front of him, but unfortunately also has Vatira in front of him too. Tries to tee up Exotic. Not quite happening at the moment for Karmine Corp. The attacks are a little bit languid. Catalysm up against Vatira, wants to up the pace. Ivan, a couple of submissions against his own backboard. That's not what you want to do, especially with the demos raining in.
Well, when the demos start to come in, German Amigos can't be sitting quite as stationary as they are. Itachi gets the nice angle round, but Vatira opening up the net in its entirety, smashing him to bits. Smithereens is what remained, and 1 goal going the way of the Blues.
Well, champions win even when they're not playing very well, and I don't think anyone's going to be looking back at this as a classic Karmine Corp performance. But right now, Stumpy, they're finding a way. They're
finding their footing again. They're a rock climber that slipped, that fell, that got caught by their safety cable.
Phew.
But they've re-chalked their hands, and they've managed to grip back onto that mountain.
Ivan is trying to bump away Vatira. Exotic had a chance to doink it. It's so frustrating.
No, we can't be annoyed. They're doing what they need to do.
But if it had doinked, that would have been a goal.
Yeah, obviously. 3-0. Easy.
Ivan with attaching in front of him. They're defending well as well, Karmine Corp. You know, when German Amigos are coming forward, they're making the decisions correctly of whether to go for the ball or sit back just that little bit more. And it's making it difficult for German Amigos. Look at that, Exotic. All the patience in the world.
Ivan!
Why, he should have just gone straight in. The fool, as I was saying, charging faster.
Taking his time has led to Exotic jumping the 50 and the ball's slipping past Exotic behind him. Ivan again dribbling to victory.
Well, that's the last time I praised the Karmine Corp passive defending. Instead, charge everything at it for the next 70 seconds or so, because German Amigos, they're going to be stepping up. Ivan's got some boost in the corner. Can't quite get the ball, but manages to get it to Exotic. Ivan uses that boost to listen to the side. German Amigos have to get something going, and they're running out of time to do it.
We're now under a minute. German Amigos, they've had the press on them, and a couple of chances as Tox finds himself wrong. Ivan to shoot!
Way.
It's open! Ivan!
I don't believe that German Amigos have got themselves back into this game. And suddenly it's nervy for Karmine Corp again. It's 2-2. Karmine Corp, we were all thinking, oh, they're going to go off and win it. They've managed to steady the ship.
Yeah, no problem.
Suddenly it's 2-2. In games as well as goals. It could be 3-2 based on that kickoff. They got lucky there, Karmine Corp. How much can their luck turn? Ivan closed him down again. Vatira, his first touch just is, well, sublime. Of course it is from Vatira. Gets him away with 0 boost. Tox is going to get in the way. Vatira is still going somehow. So much work done with nothing in the tank. But the fact remains, Stumpy, from 2-0 to 2-2. It's a bit of a throw, really.
And the confidence swing, I don't think it is a throw. I think it's partially a throw, but it's the fact that we're seeing German Amigos change how they want to be playing. Ivan is there, of course, he's on the backboard. He's like a silly little mollusk. And that ball flying the opposite side. Exotic goes for the full court carry with the Ivan assist. That silly mollusk going long, finds it in the net. 16 seconds remain. Karmine Corp, that grip hold on the mountain, stay strong.
Yeah, he may have been a mollusk, but he just didn't have the muscle to send that ball far away enough from the Karmine Corp player. One more chance maybe for German Amigos to save this game. It's closed down. Itachi in the corner. Catalysm's in up against Exotic. Tox a little bit too close to the ball. You can't blame him. This whole game is going to go flashing before their eyes. It would seem Vatira almost gets a flip for the road. Not going to happen, and Karmine Corp do take a pretty tense game right there.
That's nervy. That's nervy, that, isn't it? I like to imagine they finish that game and one of them just grabs their colour and goes,
Yeah.
We nearly let that one go, lads. That was close to slipping.
It was.
German Amigos, that turnaround. Ivan. He's so exciting. I don't know what he's going to do half the time. And yet he manages to get himself back into these positions. And look, off the way that he locates himself on the pitch and the positions he finds himself in, it's exciting to watch.
I'm a little bit disappointed that it was German Amigos pushing to win that one before overtime, which is what backfired and had them lose it. Ivan fancied the win. He was on the backboard, right? He was like, give it to me. We can win right here, right now.
Redirect.
Didn't quite happen. So I've got a feeling that's going to push that mollusk right back in his shell, and they're going to be full defensive right now on Neo Tokyo.
He's going to clam himself onto the back wall of his own half. He's going to make sure that them suckers do not relieve themselves.
Well, as long as they don't play shellfishly, then maybe they'll have a chance. They have to find each other. Exotic at the against Ivan. Ivan closes him down well. Decent start for German Amigos defensively.
We're seeing KC really muscle their way into that
use
orange
that one.
half on
I did
Neo
that one.
Tokyo. Exotic
that one.
going high onto that side wall. Goes long, and so Vatira is able to return ball. Ivan flies up, but manages to get the ball towards Catalysm. Opportunities for KC early on, and everybody diving at these balls in the midfield.
Oh, it's actually towards Tox. He's got the boost as well. He wants to get it into the corner. That's good play from Tox. Wants to get it past the two of them. It's brilliant from Tox.
Chances become opportunities and goals arise. Tox Central on his own, outplaying the duo that would shut down others. 40 seconds in, German Amigos lead.
I mean, Tox loves to do that. He is such a great dribbler of the ball, always wants to take it under his control and punish Karmine Corp, as we see right there. Ivan into the center, Catalysm has to get it high. German Amigos have their lead, and this is where they're at their best.
Exotic wanting to find Itachi, does so with 60 moves. A beautiful touch. The reset over, but Ivan to save it away that time. Floating, awkward. Exotic can get it central, and Vatira just has to put the final nail in that coffin.
Everything went a little bit champ-free for a second. Catalysm under the ball, not knowing when to go. He's forward, he's backwards, he's waiting. It's a great pass, but it's just all a bit icky for a second.
That pass is gross! I didn't really understand
Wrong, mate.
just how weird that pass was. The fact he was like backwards, sideways, and just flicks out perfectly to his teammate. That's exactly what you want to be seeing. The ball smooshing through Vatira's car. Tachi starts to shoot. By the god himself! Tox is huge!
Oh, Tox! What is this? What are you doing?
He's massive!
One of the
He's
most
gigantic!
intelligent players in the game has just been outwitted by the old master Tox.
The GOAT! Bench pressing all of those dreams that Casey had coming into this series and slamming those weights down. The double demo, though, removing both defenders from the pitch. Tox, though, he's back on the ball. And Vatira, he's nothing to him.
Ivan's going to boom this one away. German Amigos, every touch is a victory for them. To come right back to Itachi. Takes it under his spell. Tox there yet again. His confidence will be sky high right now after that fake. Vatira is just allowed the ball by Catalysm. Somehow keeps it going, though. Shepherding his opponent was Catalysm, but not enough to bully him off the ball. Ivan prods it long. German Amigos, they have stepped up. They are playing right now, Stumpy.
Oh, German Amigos, they're flying. It feels like they've partly changed their game plan, but otherwise, they're just going for as many weird plays as they can. And KC, they're not expecting it. They can't play against this all the time. Vatira, though, goes for a bit of the old special, tries to get a flip reset, but he grounds himself with it. No goal this time. Itachi to shoot with an incredibly weak shot. No run-up leads to no payoff.
I mean, this might be the final ingredient for German Amigos. We'll get to that in a second. Because Vatira, he has the quality to break down anyone at any level. Look at that, the flip reset,
The
finish.
reset, man.
There it is.
It's the reset as well onto the opposite half of the goal. Vatira drops it in, and he gets just that bit closer to the mechanical prowess of Tox.
The second game in a row in the series becomes 2-2. This time it's Karmine Corp who've got the equalizer, and they'll keep going. Catalysm with the long send. German Amigos focusing on that. Ivan's turning on his own goal line. You don't want to be doing that. Tight rotations, awkward rotations for German Amigos. It's normally where they flourish. Just to hold out Karmine Corp as long as they can. Itachi gets the flip reset. Not gonna happen this time, though. Ivan should be able to bundle this one away.
Bounces nicely for Vatira to get the reception on it, onto the backboard, but now Catalysm has learned. That one's not going to find its way in, gets shut down. Ivan, with 30 boosts, finds himself back on the wall, and the double commit. Now it's going to be a 2v1. Vatira up for one, but it gets challenged. You send two players at the ball, it's 150. You do the math.
Tox versus Itachi. Tox wins that, but he's turned away from that ball. It's what Vatira wanted. A bit too defensive there in his own corner from Tox. Just to make sure he's keeping up that faith that he had earlier on. Great pass to Vatira. The width is used. Itachi gets the finish. Karmine Corp 1-2-3.
3-2, 90 seconds remain, and Exotic, that backflip to pass it towards Vatira. Itachi to receive the second from the backboard. Brilliant play, using each other to perfection.
Now, we've made the mistake before of thinking that Karmine Corp were running away with it, and then somehow, suddenly, German Amigos bagged themselves a brace, and it became 2-all on Wasteland. Do they have it in them to do that one more time? Maybe not. Exotic and Vatira, the duo charging forward. Vatira's left it. Catalysm has just Itachi in front of him. Ivan's back. German Amigos need a goal, and they've got the boost to make it happen. They just have to believe.
The miss from Catalysm still leaves his pressure in the half of the orange against that big blue wall. You do not want to be making that kind of error. Vatira pinching skyward along with Catalysm. Exotic receives 60 boost, fakes Ivan on the backboard. That then forces Tox to then come in to challenge Ivan again into the sky. Goes to the air dribble bump, but the pinch off the ceiling from Itachi. Very fortunate. 50 seconds remain. KC on series point.
Tox is going to beat his opponent here. It's Itachi. Tox is all by himself. Gets it over into the goal line almost. Ivan is just floating in front of it. Wants to slow his car down. Not going to fall for him. They'll keep the attack going, though.
Got to that ball just a little bit too quickly, did Ivan, and so the opportunity just needed to be slower. Instead, it now goes to the KC defense, wanting to work out 25 seconds remaining. Itachi backboard, goes long. He's now solo versus Catalysm. Opportunities gone missing. Exotic to shoot, goes low, still wide of the net.
Chances. One more perhaps remaining for German Amigos. Itachi's got the ball all by himself, though. Able to swallow up a few precious seconds for German Amigos. Catalysm out wide. How's the boost for GA? It's okay, but Exotic has complete control. Ivan just pumps it forward, hopefully. Catalysm can't do anything with it. Their fight is finished. Karmine Corp make at least the semi-finals.